Hi, it's Edwin Samuelson of the CineFiles. I'm just here to give you a little update. And I got to film my favorite band of all time, which is the Stooges. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I am so grateful to everyone who supported me in my video and allowed me to film this band in concert. It was a dream come true. It was definitely one of the highlights of my life. I got there and I got to be on stage, and I filmed Scott Aston, the drummer, and I had another camera which I filmed Iggy and the rest of the band and got some great audience reactions. The shots, as you can see, turned out just phenomenal. I'm very pleased with how it came out. Also, I got to meet some amazing people, Nick Esposito, Amy Verdin, and Steve Schmidt, who were all very nice people and diehard fans, and they all did a phenomenal job filming this great group in concert. Afterwards, we got to meet the band and interview them for about an hour and a half, and got some pictures. The infamous Bob Gruen came in, took photos of each of us individually with the Stooges, and that was a really surreal moment. If the name Bob Gruen doesn't sound familiar to you, you might be familiar with his work. He took one of the most iconic images in rock and roll history, which is the John Lennon New York City t-shirt picture. Also, I'm going to give you a little update here of what's happening with the CineFiles. As you can see, we've been uploading a lot of older episodes. They're not that old, but there is one going up every 2 weeks. I thought there were some interesting episodes that need to be put up there. We actually take a little break, and now we're going to go back to recording some new episodes of the CineFiles within the next week. I want to ask you all a favor. My birthday, unfortunately, is September 11th, which is in a couple days from now, and I would like you to do me a favor. The show right now has 850 subscribers around that. It's gone up quite a bit in the last year, and I thank you for that. I would like all of you, if you're watching these videos, to rate them, and if you could, post them on your Facebook pages. We really want to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I think that's very possible. But we need your help, and we want to continue doing the show. Sometimes it's a lot of work, but I really enjoy it. I enjoy interacting with the fans. And also, if you're not a member of the Facebook page, please join us. As you can see, we all have individual accounts. There's discussions. You can be alerted when new shows are uploaded. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't, and encourage others to as well. Also, I want you, if you like the CineFiles, I want you to check out something that I'm very proud of. I recorded a couple of commentaries and produced a couple of DVDs called 42nd Street Forever, Volume 3 and 4. They're a bunch of trailers, which for old 70s films and exploitation, and I got two of my friends, one of which was Mike Ingold of Fangoria, and the other was my friend Chris Pajali, who's an excellent writer who runs a website called Temple of Schlock. We recorded a commentary on these trailers and gave a little history of each trailer, and it got some really good feedback, and I'm very proud of it. And Ain't It Cool News really liked it, and quite a few other websites and publications. But anyway, I just want to give you an update, and I want to thank you all for all the support you've given me. And also, by the way, one more thing I do if you're interested. If you like the CineFiles, there's a website that I've been running for the last, 10 years now, called avmaniacs.com. We have a nice forum there, and there's a lot of discussion. Just follow the rules when you sign up, and read some great reviews of DVDs. And anyway, I'm going to present this show to you right now. This is a show from not too long ago called The Most Disappointing Films. I think it's a pretty good show, and I hope you will think so as well. But thank you again for the support, and there's lots more to come from the CineFiles.
What is an ass buddy?
Hi, I'm Edwin Samuelson, and welcome to the CineFiles, a show that allows you to eavesdrop on the conversation of fellow film fanatics. All right, well, today we're going to be discussing the most disappointing films of all time. But before I do, let me introduce my panel. To my left, Mr. Eric Cohen. To his left, Jeff Galashaw. And to his left, Michael Fultz. All right, Mike, this was a topic that you brainstormed, and I do agree it's a good topic because there's been many films that I was looking forward to, couldn't wait to sit down and watch it. And after I watched it, the curtain went up, or went down, I should say. I thought, wow, that really was disappointing. I know that's happened to you guys quite a few times. And one film that I would definitely have to add to my list would be Robocop 3. I was a huge fan. Actually, even Robocop 2, I would say, was disappointing, because Robocop 1 is one of the best science fiction films, I think, ever made.
Oh, that's a great film. Paul Verhoeven.
Verhoeven, to me, he sets the bar so high on his films. His films are so well made, and I was really looking forward to Robocop 2.
And he nails the subversive element, the social satire, better than anybody.
Yeah,
The problem with Robocop 2 was you didn't have Paul Verhoeven directing and putting in that subversive element. You had some nice things. Tom Noonan I thought was a very interesting villain in Robocop, but you didn't have the stuff that just came out of left field, and you had Robocop was very quotable. Come on, Edwin, how can you say Robocop 3 was disappointing? That thing was set up from the very beginning to be disappointing. The only thing that gave it hope was Frank Miller was the writer.
Yeah, I was going to say, was Miller with 2 or with 3?
No, he was with 3.
No, he was with 2 and 3.
I didn't think he wrote number 2.
Frank Miller wrote part 2, and it was rewritten, and he got upset, but he still came back and did part 3. That's the reason I had hope for part 2, because part 2 is directed by Irving Kershner, who did do the best Star Wars film, which is Empire Strikes Back. And Frank Miller, who wrote one of the best comic books ever, which is the
Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Yes, which was brilliant.
Dark Knight Returns.
Returns, which is a brilliant. I remember it was one of the first graphic novels I ever read, and I was like, wow, this is fascinating for a kid, I was like, wow, this might be actually good. And it starts off pretty interesting, but it just goes downhill. Then I had hope for the third one. I was like, well, maybe they'll improve it, because they got a very good writer-director, somebody that I actually like quite a bit, his name is, oh my God, I'm sorry.
He's so awesome that Edwin just forgot his fucking name.
I can't believe I'm forgetting it.
The best
he directed Night of the Creeps.
Well,
Decker.
Fred
Decker.
Yeah, but come on, you lost Peter Weller. You're replacing him with what's his name?
John Burke.
Yeah, Robert Burke. And once you do that, you're taking RoboCop away. So
I
you
thought
got
it'd be an
Robert
improvement,
Burke.
though.
No, but
And
the
then
problem
an improvement on Peter Weller? Are you out of
The
your
problem
mind?
with part 3, to me, is that it's a kid's film.
It is a kid's film.
Pure and simple. You have this huge Japanese supervillain. At the end, it was
dumbest
pretty much
fucking movie.
a superhero movie. But the thing with part 2 that more disturbed me was that it tried so hard to be like part 1, but you don't have the talent behind it. It's still going to be...
It's violent.
It's violent. It also has some social satire, but it's not done correctly. And if it's done incorrectly, it totally misses the point and makes it just
And
as
it's
bad.
too heavy-handed. The thing about Verhoeven that I love is that when you watch his films, he can put this stuff in there so well. Some people can see it, some don't. Some people go into RoboCop seeing an
I have a
action
question.
film. Yeah.
Sticking to the subject.
Yeah.
When you went into RoboCop 2, were you expecting it to be better than it was? Were you disappointed?
Being that it was a sequel, I knew it wasn't going to be as good as the first one, but I expected maybe a little more thought to be put in the process. But sitting there watching it, I'm just like, the whole big thing to me was you have this 12-year-old drug dealer, and it seemed like one of the things that was written specifically for the role, we're supposed to be surprised that he curses.
It's just a shock value, right?
Exactly.
Well,
I
I'd
just
say,
thought it was stupid.
like you, I was looking forward to it too because of the Frank Miller association, and I loved the first RoboCop.
First RoboCop's the greatest.
But I
science
think
fiction of the
also
80s.
too, the first RoboCop had really great acting from a lot of people. Peter Weller, Nancy Allen, Kurtwood Smith. These were great actors.
What's his name? Dennis O'Hillery.
Daniel O'Hurley.
Daniel O'Hurley.
These were guys coming out. What's his name? The RoboCop creator,
Miguel Ferrer.
Miguel Ferrer.
Right.
And but you just didn't have that quality after Tom Noonan and Peter Weller.
And it's so quotable, the movie. And the problem is like I was saying, Verhoeven, puts all these little things into the movie, like a little social satire. People can see it as an action film, or they can see it as a satire and corporation.
RoboCop 3, flying RoboCop.
It's dumb. And robot samurai ninjas. Jesus.
Yeah, and the guy in the wheelchair going, "Oh, he got rid of my ninjas." A guy in a wheelchair talking about his ninjas.
And Rip Torn. Oh my God, is he overacting?
And a child orphan. Just
piece
to
of
complete
shit
it.
on all
right.
levels. Anyway,
Let's move
Mike,
on.
why don't
Enough
you
for the
pick one for
RoboCop
you?
show.
Pick one for you.
My most disappointing film of all time broke my heart and almost ended a friendship. It was, and I bitched about this ad hoc before. People know that as long as they've known me, this is definitely my most disappointing film of all time, and that was Aliens 3. I still to this day hold a lot against David Fincher, even though he was fired off the film. I hold a lot against Walter Hill and his two ass buddies that wrote the film. I mean, I like Walter Hill. I loved him for the Warriors.
Walter Hill, David Giler, and Larry Ferguson.
Yeah, these motherfuckers took the whole trilogy and just thrown it right into the dumpster because they're like, let's just kill all the guys that we cared about in Aliens 2 and throw it on a prison planet. And then let's have Charles Dutton fist fight the alien at the end.
And let's have no weapons.
Let's introduce, they can't have weapons because you basically turn Aliens 3 into Aliens 1 all over again, but make it about, 150 times less interesting. And you make it like a hybrid alien dog that runs on the ceiling, and then when you see the alien in the film, he looks like the Roadrunner. Who the fuck is scared of the Roadrunner? Nobody's scared of the Roadrunner.
Okay.
Tell us what you really feel, Mike.
And Edwin, bless his heart, is trying to show me a copy that was not a studio cut, that was more of a director's cut.
It's still flawed, but it's a lot more interesting. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the idea of killing Newt and was a terrible disappointment. In fact,
Newt
I think they
Hicks.
should have just taken Sigourney Weaver to Earth from the beginning.
Have you read the
the Dan O'Bannon sequel?
No. What's his name? The science fiction writer.
William Gibson?
William Gibson screenplay is
I
considerably
read part
different.
of. I read part of it. I believe it's like it takes place on like some kind of like scientific planet.
But
and
it brings
it's
back
research.
Hicks, Newt. They all survive at the end.
Well, what it was supposed to be, and we've talked about this on our Alien show, what it was supposed to be, what the studio was going to go for, and then they nixed it at the end because they couldn't get like agreement or whatever, but it was the humans, the Galactic Marines again, getting together with the elephant creature from the first one that was inside trying to send a signal that's you know what I'm talking about from the first
ship.
Aliens?
The derelict ship.
Derelict ship.
Right.
So it was the elephant race, and then it was a third alien race, and all three were going to the aliens' homeworld to finally exterminate the aliens. And I just thought that would have been just insane. Just bring on the right director, and it would have just been an insane, wonderful film. But they didn't do that, and they made Aliens 3 into Aliens 1, but add a big turd, and that was the film.
Do give that special edition a look. It is worth a look. I'm serious. It really is different. In fact, the alien you said
And
was
I
a dog. It's not a dog. It doesn't come from a dog in this one. It comes from an ox. It's weird. It's like, why would you shoot these two different versions? You know?
But and it's fucking
Those
horrible.
animals.
It just
I know, it's
broke,
weird.
It broke my heart. It just broke
so
my
sorry.
heart.
Well, what about you?
Because
Ass
Aliens was one of my favorite films of all time.
What is an ass buddy?
Just some douche that collaborates with another douche to put out some douchey-ash material.
So why not just douche?
Call him Massengill.
Ass buddy.
I wanna
Ass
highlight
buddy
your
seemed pretty.
homophobia.
Ass buddy seemed
Or
pretty.
douche buddy.
All right, Jeff, give
Yes.
us yours.
Okay, well, originally I was also going to say RoboCop 2. But
Really? No shit.
Yes,
Good.
but this is kind of a different one. I might get attacked for this one, but I stand firm in my beliefs. It's a little movie called The Quick and the Dead.
Okay.
And, you know,
I don't disagree with you. I think
I'll
it's
admit,
disappointing.
I'm not the biggest fan of Westerns, but I respect them as a genre. And I just felt when I was watching The Quick and the Dead, Sharon Stone is horrible. But when isn't she usually, other than in Casino? But I felt like, for instance, half the characters were more playing dress up. I felt like I was in a Western town that you visit on a tourist attraction. And I just felt like Sam Raimi was trying too hard to stylize everything, that he dragged all the passion out of it. And really, the only person I can say I honestly enjoyed in the whole film was Gene Hackman, because
Really?
Yes, because I felt like his character was just so evil and mean. I just felt you could see he really didn't enjoy being in this film and just couldn't wait for it to be over.
Well,
like I was sitting there watching
He
it.
had some great actors. Sam Raimi did, and it's one of the few times that you can say
Russell Crowe?
that
Yeah. Early performance?
Sam Raimi underuses some good talent. Keith David. Leonardo DiCaprio, one of DiCaprio's worst performances, and that's not his fault. He was barely given
worst.
anything to do.
They cut all the scenes out. Actually, he had a sex scene with Sharon Stone. It was cut on the
Well,
cutting
my
room floor and all
understanding,
that.
the deal behind that film, that was a Sharon Stone production.
Yes.
She
it was a
originated,
vanity
that was her
project.
production.
It was a
She was the one
vanity
who cast
project
Leonardo
for her.
DiCaprio. That was before Leonardo DiCaprio was.
It's just
was
after
anybody.
Gilbert Grape.
I think it's a watchable film. I don't think it's like a terrible film, but I
thought
agree
Russell
with you.
Crowe was decent.
The film the thing that kills the film is Sharon Stone.
Yes.
She is overacting in this film. She's trying too hard to be scared. It's like you're supposed to be this archetype of this stoic gunslinger out for revenge. don't show fear. If you're afraid you're going to pull a gun out, you don't know if you're going to kill Gene Hackman or not. You don't do any of that shit. But it's like she was trying to use it as a showcase for her acting.
And it came out around the same time as Unforgiven, too.
That's not the kind of film that you do that kind of acting in.
Ashes
You got to
3
understand
is
the
like-
archetypes, and you got to like play
In my
to that.
head, there's a different timeline.
Well, the
So
thing,
that was my issue. with it.
I think the problem with this, and this is what I do agree with you, Jeff. I think it's Sam Raimi's fault more. So because let me tell you what happened. Number one, this was his real first studio film that was a big budget movie. I mean, he made Darkman and he made Army of Darkness, but those weren't really.
Well, Darkman was a studio film.
But it wasn't a super high budget studio film. This was his first one with A-list cast, A-list everything. You know,
Liam Neeson's not A-list.
not back in 1990.
Francis McDormand's
It's a low
not
budget
A-list.
movie. Anyway, he tries so hard to make a really super deluxe action packed movie, and it just fails. It's over stylized. It's way too much, way too much. And there's all this trick photography which becomes so it's just so in your face. It's just distracting. Like there's a scene where a person is shot, and you get the shot the scene from behind the head.
Exactly.
But anyway, you have one.
I have one. This is fun. Let me give you a little bit of context to this. I was a wee lad, and I used to subscribe to Starlog magazine. And they were giving
Nerd!
And they used to
Nerd!
yes, I did. I admit it. I liked Starlog magazine.
Me too.
That's dating me, folks.
And Fangoria, I like both of them.
But I remember seeing like these photos, these press photos for this movie that was coming out. And man, I was like, God, this movie looks so fucking cool. Look at the hardware in this film. Look at the.
Name it already!
It was called Megaforce.
Oh, dude!
That was on my most disappointing list
so
too.
psyched to
oh
see this
my
film.
God! I saw it in
And a
comic
friend of
books.
mine, my best friend at the time, was psyched to see it. When I found out it was playing at the local movie theater, I called my friends like, guess what's out now? Fucking Megaforce. And he's like, yeah, let's go see it. We dropped everything, went to see it, and we're just like, what the fuck is this piece of shit?
3 words before the movie: missiles and motorcycles.
But it was like, and Hal Needham, the guy behind like the stunts behind Smokey and the Bandit and all those films, directed it. And it's like they have all these like inappropriate sort of Smokey and the Bandit moments where people are cracking all these like hillbilly jokes during like these like futuristic motorcycle fights, and stuff.
And horrible plastic missiles
I have to say,
coming
one
off
thing.
the
Barry
Barry
Bostwick
Bostwick
is
with
the
the-
lead.
with
Come
a
on.
headband.
Is this on DVD?
I can get you a copy.
Okay, because I
it's-
have never seen it.
It's so fucking
wait, when
bad.
you saw the
Bada, who was the bald chick from Star Trek, the movie, has all I remember.
She has hair.
She has hair. I remember thinking, yeah, she's kind of hot with hair. But it was, oh God.
And they had the worst enemy. These like Arab terrorists.
My friend and I,
that
when we
were
finished
so
watching that film, when we left the movie theater, it was like we had just gone to war and we were shell-shocked.
There's only I say this.
We
There's
had
only one movie
combat
worse.
shock
There's only
in
one
that
movie worse, which I think it's Leonard Part 6.
Well,
you knew that was going to suck.
Megaforce.
I knew Megaforce.
Megaforce was like watching a really, really wealthy kid train hard for like a year as a boxer and a martial artist, and he gets like new nunchucks and he has new Chinese stars, and he goes and beats the poor kid down the street. That's what it's like. They beat up a bunch of poor Arabs. They had like the most sophisticated stuff, and they just beat up these poor Arab guys.
But they all got nice like 80s coiffs.
Yeah.
I'll
With
tell
the
you,
headband.
you know what we're gonna do?
This sounds
I guess
like
that
a
was
spoof
badass
of
for
like
the
an
early
action.
80s.
I will make a
big budget
promise
action.
to everyone out
That's
there.
with the
We
title.
will review Megaforce on a future show
I'd have
in
to
detail.
see
We're doing it
We have
now.
to- no, we have to really watch me and Jeff. We're
No,
gonna,
please don't make us sit through it again.
I won't.
No.
When I was a kid, I would see these trailers for really scary films, especially on cable, and I'd think, oh my God, that looks like the scariest movie I've ever seen. Matter of fact, I warned a bunch of my friends when the movie was going to come on, I'd say that this is going to be the scariest movie I ever saw. And it was the original Boogey Man. And the original Boogey Man is just bullshit.
Wait, the
when
one
you
with
see
the-
it.
with the broken,
it's
mirrors?
a killer trapped in a mirror.
Right,
It's
okay.
like, oh, give me a fucking break. It's a guy trapped in a mirror. That's not scary. None of it was scary.
fuck Leonard Maltin. He gave it 3 stars in his book.
I think the remake of Boogey
Yeah, the
Man,
director
which
was
was
Uli
garbage.
Rommel, who was like,
Louis Lamel.
wasn't,
The trailer's on the 42nd Street
but
forever. Death.
wasn't this like a protege of Andy Warhol? or
Yes, he
something
is.
like
He did
that?
a movie called Cocaine Cowboys. He actually worked on a film with Richard Hell called Blank Generation. In fact, Richard Hell wrote a song about him called Lowest Common Denominator because he said he was such an asshole. So,
Well, anyway, the movie was just garbage.
and it made a lot of money. In fact, there's a sequel
well,
which is
the
even
trailer,
worse.
the trailer to Boogey Man makes it seem like it's the most intense, horrific experience, like Phantasm on steroids, but it's just garbage. It's not scary.
Now available on 42nd Street Forever, Volume 3. Okay, what about you, Jeff?
Well, I don't have anything as passionate as you guys have mentioned, but one film that was really disappointing, Any Given Sunday, directed by Oliver Stone.
I enjoy that.
Well,
I did.
up to that point, I thought Oliver Stone was pretty much a pretty good director. But after seeing that film, I just wondered what the hell happened, because it seemed like there was really no politics for him to tackle, no real story for him to tackle. So it was just like, why don't we just put Al Pacino as a coach of this team? And basically, I don't know if you've seen it, but there was a show called First and 10, and it was like watching a big screen.
HBO.
More big screen, more dramatic
Starring
version.
O.J. Simpson.
It's T.D. Parker.
That's what it was like sitting through this film. It was like, oh, these problems I don't identify with, or that I've never seen. And then, even before the film, they made this whole big, brouhaha that in the film there was this eye gouging scene. And I go to see the film, and then I'm sitting through this film waiting for the scene to happen, and then it's like, oh, like after a pileup, one guy picks another guy's eye up off the thing, and it's shot so far you can't even really see.
Football game?
Exactly. So that's why I was like, this film is just
So
horrible.
I will say, I'm a football fan. I'm an Oliver Stone fan. I enjoyed the film.
Well,
He hasn't made a good film.
It
He
felt
hasn't
like
made
a
good
Michael
film in
Bay
years,
film to
though.
me. It didn't feel like
Exactly,
an
but it
Oliver
was very disappointing considering what I thought it was going to be.
I got one, and Eric, this is one we can discuss, because I know you saw it, because I gave you a copy of it.
Oh, great. We don't matter or anything.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, I know he's seen it. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I was waiting for this film for 25 years. So I can honestly
It's
say.
not The Godfather 3.
Actually, no.
is
It's
it?
actually been. Well, that was 15 years. But this one was actually
pretty
no, even
disappointing.
longer than that. It was actually. I've been waiting for this film for 28 years, and the film is a concluding chapter of Dario Argento's Three Mothers trilogy, which is The Mother of Tears,
Yeah, I didn't
which was one of the worst, depressing things I've seen.
I wanted to rip my eyes out.
I wanted to cry because Dario Argento is my favorite director, and this one actually made me want to put the dirt on his coffin and say, sorry, Dario, you got to give it up now.
It's the laziest film he's ever made, too. It's just...
It's cheap.
It's like he just doesn't give a shit about what's up on the screen.
You guys have to see it. It's on DVD on Dimension
it's
Extreme.
What, are you crazy?
Oh, no.
Can I? I have another most of. This is sort of encapsulating a whole bunch of films. Any attempt to adapt Alan Moore. Alan Moore, probably one of the best writers of our generation.
Well, just say it. Just come on and say it. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
League of Extraordinary
from Hell.
Gentlemen, From Hell,
V for
Vendetta,
Megaforce.
Megaforce. I just want to say, Alan Moore has never been so misrepresented by Hollywood. There's been no writer most misrepresented by Hollywood than Alan Moore.
Yes, there is. There's one.
Well, let me finish. Because everyone seems to think they can not only improve upon Alan Moore's stuff, but they think they can improve upon it by seriously dumbing down what is very sophisticated, complex material. From Hell, what the fuck was that? League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I'm not even give that the attention it doesn't deserve the attention. I'm going to talk about V for Vendetta very quickly, because there's an example where technically that could have been the better adaptation of Alan Moore stuff, but again, they missed the boat with that one, and I think people who thought they liked that film only liked it because at that point, our expectations have been lowered by the kind of film that's being put out by Hollywood anyway. So we kind of mistake that for being an intelligent film because it has fascist themes and is trying to be political, even though it really isn't.
It's heavy-handed, and the problem is people were desperate for a
Guys,
blockbuster.
the original book, it's not about the evils of fascism. It's not about being your own individual and think for yourself. That's not what it's about. It's about, Alan Moore presents two evils, fascism, anarchy. And it's up to you as the reader to decide, well, which would you rather have? And there's no real answer to it because the anarchist hero is as extreme as the fascists in the book. And that is the point. The whole Guy Fawkes thing, the reason why he takes on that, this is another thing that pissed me off. The time that V for Vendetta came out, they had a missed opportunity.
You go, girl!
All right? The whole point of Guy Fawkes, as you all know, he wears a Guy Fawkes mask. Why? Because in the 1600s, there was an attempt to bomb British Parliament. The guy who was caught doing it was a guy named Guy Fawkes, but he wasn't the only one doing it. What they missed in that movie
You go,
was the
girl.
fact
Go.
that it was a Catholic plot, because Britain was very anti-Catholic at the time. So all Catholics, it was illegal to be Catholic. They went out and started to hunt down anyone who was associated with Catholicism. Well, imagine we could make that parallel today with our way of hunting down terrorists by singling them out as Muslim
You
Arab
hated
terrorists.
this fucking film, didn't you?
No, they missed that opportunity.
Well, I will
Did you
say,
two hang out
I-
before
So,
the
you know,
show?
it's like they
I
missed
will
all these
say-
fucking
I
points.
will say that From Hell should not have been adapted into a film.
From
It-
Hell is an amazing,
From-
dense mindfuck of a novel.
From Hell should have been like a masterpiece theater.
And
like
From Hell,
miniseries.
the hero, the
love
main
these
protagonist of
Make the
From Hell
mountain
is
calm
Jack the
down.
Ripper. It's not a mystery. It's not a mystery in the book.
No, I wouldn't say that.
No, it's not,
It's
no.
the fat psychic.
No.
Or it's the psychic
No,
and the
Sir William
investigator.
Gold. No. Sir William Gold is the main character in From Hell, the novel. The Aberline, who's the inspector in the novel, is
But
a
I
side
wouldn't say
character.
it's written from
All
the
right, guys, it
protagonist.
sucked.
Yes.
All right.
Jack the Ripper is the main character. He's a central character in the novel. Reread the novel.
I got one.
No,
okay,
I
I
don't
got
want
another
to.
one, guys. Let's
I
go.
wanna go
Let's
after
move
you-
on. Let's
after
move
Eric's.
on. It's a piece of shit movie. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, now I got a movie I'm going to mention to you. Another
Didn't
one.
you
of my-
just name one?
Oh, okay,
You
I'm sorry.
cheater.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead then.
Yes, go after
right.
that.
Well, yeah,
Beautiful
I mean,
diatribe.
Go ahead.
I can't
Megaforce.
top that.
Megaforce 2.
Another film that I thought would be super scary and super awesome as a kid, and I saw it and I was so disappointed, was Lifeforce. I expected.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that is not disappointing. That's got some good punani in it.
I expected to see what I saw from the trailer was apocalyptic.
That's a good choice.
Just a ravaged planet because of these aliens come down. It's basically like downtown London. That's the only thing that gets fucked up, and it's a love story. It is a love story between cosmic vampires. I don't want a love story between cosmic vampires. And if you show me a trailer where the world gets ravaged because of these cosmic vampires, destroy the world, please. Only have a couple survivors walking around that have to save Earth.
Dan O'Bannon, who was behind that, the film adaptation, was on record saying that he was attempting to do his Quatermass movie. It's sort of like a homage to that, but it's very campy. It's a very campy
It's just-
film. If you
it's
see it. It's like
bad, man.
overwrought
It's just
acting.
It's
a bad
overproduced, and the
film.
problem is too. By the way, it's cut. It was cut really poorly. It's actually I don't know if you guys saw there's an international version which actually runs 15 minutes longer, makes it a little bit more sense, a little bit more coherent. But I mean, still, it helps it some, but still.
And Steve Railsback has no presence at all.
None.
And Patrick Stewart is completely wasted. He's terrible.
That's right. Well, yeah, but he wasn't
never
really
seen
knowing
it.
who he was at the time.
And it's not a very good movie. It's actually, but
the best role is Frank Finley.
I think Matilda May. I think
Well,
that's the one you
yeah,
never
I mean,
forget.
yeah, because you see her breasts. Yeah, sure.
But
why
she's a
not?
beautiful
But
woman.
it's just
But
really,
that's
you
usually
know, it's
a
one of those
micro-requirement.
things that so did not match the trailer. And quite frankly, I was disappointed with her breasts.
That's Toby Hoop. Whoa, dude. Okay.
Oh, she's hot.
She's
Come on.
hot,
She is
dude.
I was
hot.
disappointed with her breasts. I'm sorry.
We're-
She's no
we're
Rachel
viewing
Ward.
breast here.
I think you're looking
Well,
at
that
the guys.
says something, actually, if you can't even like it for the nudity.
Wow.
Wow.
This is the guy who gives the movies 2 thumbs up for boobs.
More of an ass man, but sure, go on.
So let me mention one last one here. This is one that really disappointed me. John Carpenter is one of my favorite directors, and he was announced to do a remake of Village of the Damned. Oh my God, it's the worst thing John Carpenter has ever done. It's even worse than his massive horror episodes.
Well, no, wait a minute. What about that
Ghost
one that
of
he did on the
Mars?
plane? Yeah, Ghost of Mars.
Ghost of Mars, I watched that. I couldn't get through Village of the Damned. Village of the
I
Damned
actually
is
didn't mind
insulting.
Village of the Dam. I thought it was okay.
I didn't mind it, but I thought it was too on the nose. I thought that Carpenter wasn't it wasn't an imaginative.
I
on
felt
that
that he was just a
story.
job.
Anybody could have
The
The
directed
original
it.
is so much better.
It's like
original's
anybody
so
could have
well done.
directed it. Didn't feel special.
Yeah, and they have to show he's like, try to imagine a brick wall. So of course we get a CGI wall, imagine when, it's stupid little touches that
And the
he
glowing
does.
eyes was kind of obvious, all that stuff. There was no subtlety.
And when they try to explain to children where they actually came from, I didn't want to know. I wanted to have a little mystery to it. They try to explain
That's what's
too
so
much.
beautiful about the first film,
And it's a very low budget film that's very imaginative. I love every moment of the original. And the sequel's even good.
Sequel's very interesting.
Matrix 2.
Oh yes.
Matrix Reloaded.
Actually,
Very
I would go on record
What a
that's everyone's
horrible,
biggest
horrible
disappointment.
piece of garbage. I've never, amateur philosophy has never been less appealing than these long-ass monologues that the Wachowskis put in their film. Oh, my head wanted to explode.
And they try to dress it up with like 30 minutes of action sequences.
Yeah, it was like a kind
And
of
an
film where you're
over 2 hour
Forget the
long
race
movie.
The trilogy in general, the first one was such a beautiful build-up for what you were hoping would be a great payoff.
I really
like
felt
like
so,
a
yeah.
mind-blowing payoff. And you sat there and you're like, man, an 11-year-old could come up with something much more original, creative,
about
and
that
clever,
rave
and
scene?
mind-blowing than what they came up with.
That rave scene that was just 10 minutes in the middle, just all music and them dancing techno. It really, really felt like it was
The
like
music
Star
video
Wars.
sex scene.
And it was going to go
and
on
then giving
continue.
cameos to Cornel West and Roy Jones Jr. for really no reason.
Well, that was our most disappointing. We'll
Trust
definitely
me,
do
there'll
another
be
show.
more
There'll be
shows
more.
like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, till next week.
This was
Thank
easy,
you.
Thanks for coming.
folks.
God, that was a fun one. I went by really
I didn't
fast.
have to pull out Mothman Prophecy.
Oh God, that would have been a good.
And I used to subscribe to Starlog magazine, and they were giving
Nerd!
and they used to
Nerd!
give, yes, I did.